So lately, I've been hearing a lot of different people talking about one of my favorite fantasy books for fantasy series. It's called The Chronicles of the Black Company. It's by an author named Glenn Cook. The books of the series are The Black Company, Shadows Linger, The White Rose, Shadow Games, Dreams of Still, Bleak Seasons, She is the Darkness, Water Sleeps, and Soldiers Live. Well, recently there's been some new additions. A prequel of sorts called Port of Shadows, which I'm still currently reading. And then a new series, I think it's called A Pitiless Reign, and I think that's supposed to be 4 different books. So I hear a lot of people talking about, kind of ragging on it, and I just kind of want to spend a minute just explaining about the Black Company. First off, the Black Company might not be for you. I see a lot of different people just kind of ragging on it because they want something else, and that's fine if you want something else, but don't get mad at Black Company for not being what you want it to be. So let's just kind of answer the basic question. I'll give you a breakdown of the series, but let's just answer the basic question: is the Black Company for you? First off, I'd say that there's 3 people that the Black Company is not for. First off, if you get squeamish about dark and heavy themes in your books, such as possession and those kinds of things, this series is probably not for you. Second off, if you are the kind of person who needs trigger warnings at the beginning of your books, this book series probably is not for you. And then third off, if you're the kind of person who maybe isn't super into fantasy, you need more flowery language, you get upset anytime that something is like not, descriptive about everything, these books are probably not for you. My biggest complaint with the Black Company is that there's no map. I love my maps in fantasy, and for whatever reason, there is no official map, and so you just kind of have to guesstimate, which drives me up the wall. That right there, that's my biggest complaint. So as far as what is the Chronicles of the Black Company, well, I think the most broad summary you can get is that it is the annals of a mercenary group. That's the broadest, description I can give you. And I feel like it is something that really has not been done, especially at this kind of level. Now, let me kind of break that down a little bit more. More specifically, the Chronicles of the Black Company is about 2 different things. Number 1 is about the path to immortality, or the path to knowledge, whichever you want to look at that. And the second thing that it's about is the redemption arc of an amoral merc group. So right there, you know that there's going to be some dark things because it's an amoral merc group. These aren't people who love Jesus. These are not your religious folk. These are mercenary group. And this is a mercenary group that does bad things. And you might say, well, how in the world can you have a redemption arc for such evil people? Well, and that's why a lot of people say this reads a lot like, Vietnam War memoirs. Okay, all right, that's fair. That's fair. You got army guys being army guys. And then you see a lot of character development and growth. For instance, Croker's one of the main characters. And in his younger days, he's less vocal about stuff. He's more just kind of goes with the flow. And then as he gets older, things change for him. You see his perspectives change a little bit. You see some things just get more beat into stone, and so you look at the Croker from the last book, and you look at the Croker from the first book, and it's the same person, but it's an older version, and maybe you could even say a more wise version. And a lot of the people in Croker's younger days are going to be more what would be considered toxic masculinity by a lot of the modern culture, and because of that, you're going to have a lot of people who right there write it off because they want it to be something that it's not. If you want something that is flowery and, makes you feel warm inside, this is not that. This is not that. This is a group of flawed mercenaries who do bad things. I don't get why people would get a book called Chronicles of the Black Company, a mercenary group, and then would get upset at it because the people don't act like priests. They aren't priests. They're mercenaries. What? I don't get it. Maybe I'm just off the mark. But the thing that makes the Chronicles of the Black Company really not just unique, but amazing, is that the different books are different annals. written by different people. That right there is an amazing feat, because Glenn Cook does this thing where the different people writing genuinely feel like different people. They write differently, they use different like wordings, and they have different beliefs. Like you have one who is a kind of like a Muslim, sort of, and then you have one who's like an atheist. And so they get their different points, you know, and they focus on different things. You have some people that focus on these things. Some people kind of make stuff up. Some, you know what I mean? And everybody has their own different style and different bent and different personalities. And the amount of character work that Glenn Cook does in the series is just phenomenal. Like, it is just phenomenal. Never have I ever seen a fantasy series do something this grand. And that's one of the reasons I really love it. So you have different books written by different people, you know, who write differently. Obviously still Glenn Cook, but I mean in the fictional world. And they're all writing differently. And then they have development that happens over the series too. This is not a book that you would read and think, oh, this person's safe. Like, for instance, I mentioned a person named Croker. Don't go into this series thinking, oh, Croker is safe. He lives. This is very much so grimdark fantasy. And with that being said, you can expect it. Now, there were some irritations I had with some of the books. And for those people who have read the series, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. There was one book specifically where it felt like he just wanted to kill people off. And so the company was doing things that just were kind of stupid for them to do. Like, that's not a wise thing for them to have done. And, you know, being kind of naive and keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And it's like he just wanted them to die. And that was a little frustrating. Because I expected something grander from the Black Company. But with that being said, we all fall to the pits that we create in our own mind. Sometimes we create, you know, insurmountable goals, things that are too grand for us to achieve. And then when we're faced against them, we choke. And I think that is definitely something that happens. But also there's a lot of things that go unsaid in the annals, things that happen in the back that you don't really see, and you have to just kind of fill in the blanks. Maybe not to the extent of Malazan, but still there. And so there's a lot of background manipulation and a lot of things that are, you know, kind of affecting the group. Now, earlier on in the series, you're going to have a lot of just more combat kind of stuff, and then later on, you're going to have a lot more politics. So the two different, you could basically cut the series in half, the first 3 books and then everything else, and of the main series. I don't know, once again, I don't know about this new series. And basically cut it there in half and say the first 3 books are more action, and the last little arc there, or whatever you want to say, is more focused on politics, and things slow down quite a bit. As far as content warnings, everything. If you want to know, does this book have this? Yes, it does. Whatever that thing is that you're asking about, it has that. The sex scenes, I will say, are not overly graphic. They will more say, like, okay, you know, we went out into the woods. But it won't actually, like, you know, go into real crazy detail about it. It kind of just leaves it up to your imagination. However, it does make up for that lack with excessive crude humor, language, all that stuff. All of it. Even things you would think, oh, surely this isn't in that book, it is. You really get to know these characters, flaws and all, and see their strengths. And you also see things, especially if you've been to war, there's a lot of stuff here that is like that. You know, where you're hanging with the guys and you don't necessarily agree with the guys, but when you're in war, it's a whole different thing. You're not sitting there like lecturing and being a keyboard warrior. It's just a whole different thing that happens there. And with this, you see that the characters don't necessarily agree with each other. They might not even like each other, but they are still a unit. And for all that you know entails. So I guess for me, I would say The Black Company is a fantastic series. I would highly recommend it to people who like fantasy. And I very much so think that people are being too harsh on this really amazing series. I feel like, though, if you're someone who wants to kind of be pandered to and you're easily offended, you may be a bigger fan of the newer Star Wars than maybe older movies, you'll probably not like this. series. But if you can read something without believing everything that you read, this series really is good. So I guess it really just depends on whether or not you're more of a fundamentalist or not. But I strongly recommend the series.